Festival. Welcome to the world premiere of Luxor. This is a film that is part of our World Cinema Dramatic Competition. And I'm very excited for you to see it. I really fell in love with this film. It is a film that's about trauma, but also about longing and desire, and I just love being in the world of this film. The filmmaker was last here at the 2010 Sundance Film Festival with one of my personal favorites that we've shown in the last decade. It's called The Imperialists Are Still Alive, and please join me in welcoming the writer and director of Luxor, Zeina Durra.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, and I really want to thank him because I really wouldn't be here had, after the birth of my third child, I hadn't received a WhatsApp from Kim which was saying, great, now when's the next movie? So that was really inspiring, and I love Sundance for always having supported me, and it's such an important place because without places like this, filmmakers like me really couldn't get anything amazing. So thank you so much. I feel like the film is something that you really have to immerse yourself in, so I'm just going to not really say much beforehand, but we'll be around for questions afterwards. And I think I just wanted to bring up the cast and crew just so you can meet everyone. Yeah, I'm going to introduce everyone. There's quite a lot of them, but they all worked so hard. It was such a it was such a difficult. Exactly, like, which mic do I use? It was such an intense shoot. We shot in 18 days. Thank you. We shot. Can I talk about it? It was a really intense shoot. We shot this in 18 days, and all these people are serious troopers. I cannot tell you the stuff I put them through. And I might get really emotional because I was also there with my 3-month-old baby, who was also a real trooper. So here we have the amazing Andrea Riseborough. Then we have the wonderful Karim Saleh. Michael Landis, who plays Carl. Webster, who is the most wonderful, he's our executive producer, but a mentor and keeps me going in London because I really miss not being able to make films in the US, but Paul makes it okay. And then it took an Egyptian producer and a Lebanese Italian producer to get this done. So thank you for our men. And then you've got you. Then Zalmira Gainza, my wonderful, wonderful DP, who never lost it in the most crazy situations. And Andrea, who flew and edited with me in like the shortest amount of time possible, and we worked literally 20-hour days like we were students again. And Bob, who made it happen on set, he's our associate producer and the line producer, and it was I cannot tell you what I did wonders. And of course, Natsui, the phenomenal composer who made the upstairs score. So I really have to give them all up because I really wouldn't have done this without them. Okay, so I hope you really enjoyed this one. Remember, 18 days, that's what it was shot in. Anything is possible.
We'll grab a mic. Do you want to invite up?
Yeah, I'm just going to, firstly, I forgot to say thank you all for coming. That was like really key. And I'm going to invite Andrea, who played Hannah, and Karim, who played Sultan, up.
I'll start the conversation, but if you're compelled to ask a question, please raise your hand up high so we can see it. This movie is so moving. I love it so much. It made me think about so many things. There's so many layers. What space in your mind, or what were some of the themes that you were thinking when you started writing this?
So the whole thing really, I keep on saying this, I sound a bit nuts, but it came from like a dream. I had this dream about the ruins and a woman walking through them. And then there was like a lot of emotion in the dream, and I had to like sit down and work out what exactly that was. And that sort of made up the layers of the film in a way. So it's about like choices, nostalgia for a better time, especially because everything was getting so toxic with the rise of the far right and everything. And then I was a bit pregnant when I was writing it, so like the whole spiritual element, that's my baby boy, and then my DP and my girls were running through at the end. It was like a very kids on set kind of movie. I just had there's this whole script I mentioned. I loved Luxor because it was a place where you could really show all the history, these multi-layers of like a modern Arab city really, with like the ancient ruins, and then you had like modern Egypt, and that's also like has been going through a lot. So I really loved the fact that every single frame in the film could really speak volumes. Especially also the whole thing about which I found out when I was researching Freud and Jung, and the whole idea of a dig being like an archaeological dig being similar to them going into someone's brain and finding that.
You guys spend so much time in Luxor, and you spoke about, and Luxor seems like another character in the film, but everything felt so natural, and the moments felt like you were nostalgic, and your relationship as well. How much time did you guys spend there? How much time did you guys spend together to develop this naturalness in the movie?
About 20 hours. Wow. Prior to shooting. It was one of those miraculous and it was a rarity the way this film came together, because we're all trying to make projects for tens of years and nothing happens, But suddenly, we talked. I read Zeina's incredible script. It's such a beautiful script. One of my favourite scripts I've ever read. And we talked the next day or that same day, and then I got on a plane from Senegal where I was shooting something to come and do it immediately, because I had a 3.5 week break in between this and something else. And we met at the baggage carousel. And the script was so beautiful. And Zaina's, I hope you don't, it's so weird, isn't it, when we talk about it? You're such a purist in the way that she writes the script, so it's very sparse and very little.
Hey, hi everyone.
Wow. Very little stage direction. She really leaves so much space for the unknown, and that's exactly what this film needed. It's steeped in the unknown, and then it's set out of time. It's something far bigger than silly us. So I read an awful lot about what it would be like to be a surgeon on the Jordan-Syrian border, and I looked at a lot of images, and really the next 3 weeks were reflecting what the trauma of that might have been. And the falling in love part was easy.
I read the script, I think, a few months before we started working. Kind of conveniently, my analyst suggested that I start reading, and I've been in my sort of 13th book about Jung on alchemy and the archetypes. So I was living in this kind of pantheon archetypal world, a little bit already. And Zeina, I think, is a little psychic. She sends me this script, and I see this journey, and immediately start a process of creating an emotional relationship with the character. I have a Middle Eastern mom, raised me in a war zone. I felt for her very, very deeply, immediately. And what happened was that when I got there and I started interacting with both these very strong women, a lot of my plans evaporated, and I think they just carried me through it. Really.
So the Grateful Dead was just amazing. I was trying to find out like these kind of kooky spiritual groups that like you see when you go to Egypt. There's like tons of them, and I googled like spiritual, tourism, Luxor, maybe like some cult one, and this woman's name came up. And then I researched and I called her up and said, could you speak to me because I'm trying to research this. And she turned out not to be a fraud at all. She's actually a really cool woman, and her husband had been manager of the Grateful Dead, and that's why she'd gone to Luxor. So I'm like, you can't make this stuff up. It's like the stuff I live for when I write. So I had to put that in. And she actually was really helpful, and because she was really ill, because they're quite old now, and they live in Oregon, they left New York for Oregon. But Indigo, the lady who was doing the whole like when she's standing there, they're doing the whole New Age speak about feeling yourself in the temple. That's actually her right hand person, and it was really helpful having her because she they have this really interesting way of like taking sort of this academic script and making it quite accessible and quite spiritual, which I thought was really interesting. And then Bob Marley's boat was because all these boats are called like, what were they called? Hendrix, and all these boats that you cross like called these like names, and I love Bob Marley, and I was like, why not? Let's put the Bob Marley boat.
Right, I can't try and think of the other names.
Hendrix. It was Hendrix.
Might have been a Snoopy.
Yeah, could have been Snoopy, who's a great band. There were other bands. Yeah, we were again shooting 18 days, so we didn't really know what was happening to us. We were just going.
Yeah, what I didn't finish saying before was the money came together for the film so quickly and so unexpectedly, and so we had this small window, and that was we had 18 days and we shot it as swiftly as we could.
Yeah.
Permission from the Egyptian government to film at the tombs, and what was that experience like?
Well, they're all sitting behind you, the guys that killed themselves. There's Bob with his hand up. He was a trooper, and Mo. But they're Egyptian, so that does give them a head start. So he will take a bow. Obviously, being like an Egyptian production, it was a UK Egyptian production, but the Egyptian section really helped us get the tunes. But it was tricky. I mean, we were like, can we shoot in this or can we not? On the morning off kind of thing. But we managed to make it all happen.
Talk a little bit about the process of making that amazing dance scene.
So much fun.
When we first Skyped, and I was in, like I said, Senegal and
Cotswolds, which is like this like really
Cotswolds.
twee English countryside place.
I said to you, wouldn't it be this is going to sound completely daft, but wouldn't it be quite kind of wonderful if she was maybe sing a bit of karaoke to maybe Purple Rain? I'm thinking Prince.
Because I had her doing some weird dancing and jumping off into the Nile, which was actually difficult because of the crocodiles and the team that was actually next to you, which
Because
we
I
didn't
would
know
have
about.
died.
Yeah, so we didn't do that. We had to find like a substitute team.
Which was, and I didn't say anything about it when she first told me I was falling into the Nile. I didn't say anything about it, and the next time we talked, she's like, I've been thinking about the Nile thing, I'm thinking it's probably a bit dangerous. And apparently it's really expensive to get scuba divers. So we decided not to do that, much to my glee.
Why was it scuba diving? I still don't understand that.
Probably in case I would die, in case I came to my death. But anyway, it's just this Prince song, and Purple Rain's so expensive, it probably would have been twice the
They
budget.
didn't give the rights. They didn't give
Didn't get the rights.
I even got that piano bar guy. He spent like the whole 2 weeks doing this really cool like fake rendition of it.
Which was, he learned it, practiced it, everything was great.
Sing it to him,
Yeah, and we couldn't get them. So the night before, we actually didn't know what we were going to do. We had no idea, and it was the last day of the shoot, wasn't it?
We didn't know what song we were going to use.
Yeah, and so the guy who plays piano in the bar played the piano,
Yeah, and we said just go for it, just be really with
and then we
it.
just started shooting it.
Yeah. And the bar was open, so some people were like walking past, like, what the hell is going on?
People were ordering
Yeah.
drinks.
And the barmen as well were like, who are these like foreigners? Like, what are they doing?
And our
So weird.
producers were sitting at the bar in the scene as well.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm being told that we have run out of time, but I encourage everyone to continue conversations outside. So please help me thank.
Hey, this is Eric from myoncinema.com. If you want to support us, subscribe below. For more reviews, interviews, film festival coverage from Sundance, Cannes, Toronto, you want to check out these guys on this side.